Welcome to Gino's Garden. Come on in, everyone. Do you know what time it is? Oh, no watch. What time is it? It is time to plant tomatoes. We're here in South Texas, and we're in our first growing season of the year, which that is the second week in February. Remember, we have two. We're lucky. Second week in February, second week in September. Two growing seasons. First one, tomato time. Now, my favorite is the grape tomatoes. And the grape tomatoes grow real tall, okay? They're about 10 to 12 foot, all right? Now, you have to have a cage, so your tomatoes will grow up the cage and get taller. They grow just like grapes, just like the word, okay? Now, what you need to do when you plant the tomato, now, and you all should know this already, make sure you plant it 2/3 down, right here, okay? You want to bury all this. And I'm going to break apart the bottom to put that in the ground. The reason our tomatoes grow from 10 to 12 feet, somewhere in there, is because we use rabbit poop. And that's our fertilizer. And rabbit poop and tomatoes coincide with each other. They love it. You have to try it at home. You can watch all my videos. You see how the tomatoes grow. You know, our cages are 6 foot. They'll grow out the top and grow over each way. Some of them grow back down. Hey, at the end of the season, we'll measure one of the tomato stalks. And you'll see. But you can tell by the other videos. So, when you're in the garden growing, you're going to need a couple things, okay? Now, if you're going to be on your knees, you need knee pads, all right? We're not getting younger. And especially a good pair of leather gloves, both sides, all right? Protect your hands. And of course, we need a shovel. Now, get a little hand shovel, all right? And if you can't do this, get one of your children or a neighbor, a relative, someone that could do it for you, all right? At least get a couple tomato plants in. But what you want to do is get this 2/3 down, all right? And I'm going to loosen it up just a tad, like this, and we'll be ready to go. Now, again, what I do, I kind of break the bottom here. And when you break, you can see these roots inside. It's ready to go. Now, after I break apart the bottom, like so, I'm going to pop this in the ground. And I'm going to gently bring the dirt into the middle and pack the outside down, like this. You don't want to get too close to the center packing, all right? Remember, you got to try this a couple times and learn from experience. All right, once you get that in there, I'm going to take my gloves off. Now, I made my own tomato cages because I needed them taller. And what I use on my tomato cage on the bottom, as you see here, I use plastic wrap. It's very cheap, okay? $1 or $2 a roll. And I wrap the bottom with plastic wrap up about 1.5 feet, 2 feet. Now, this acts like a little greenhouse for your tomato. Because, you know, we're still in our spring, and your spring when it comes. You do have a lot of cold mornings, and especially the wind. You know how the wind is. It rips them and knocks them over. Well, that's what this plastic wrap does. It protects the plant from the wind. Now, my tomato cages, what I do, there's no wires to stick in the ground. I just twist this back and forth and get it pretty solid, like so. And I use wooden stakes I put down the side. Now, I'm not going to hammer it right now, but I use a little mini sledgehammer and, you know, hit this in at least about a foot. Compact the dirt around there. And then what I use are, my favorite, are zip ties. Make sure you get your zip tie long enough. Now I use 11-inch zip ties because when you turn it around and you go around your steak, you need something to grab onto. If they're too short, you can't grab onto it. You're going to need to get a pliers, all right? So you can grab it on and tighten that baby up, wiggle it, and tighten up as tight as possible. And I would put like 4 or 5 on your steak because when the wind comes, you want this as solid as possible. And do you see this? The tomatoes protected, all right? Our mornings are going to be about 50 now and 75 during the day, which that's what it is right now. So this protects it from the cold in the morning, the wind, everything you can imagine. And when you see your tomato grow and it grows on top of your plastic and it comes out, it's very healthy, very healthy. And then it's time to take off the plastic. So, you know, prices aren't getting any cheaper at all on fruits and vegetables. You have to start your own garden at your house or someone else's house. You know, go together with someone and be a team. Plant your garden. That seems to work best with many people because sometimes not everybody has a lot of time in the garden to take care of things you need to take care of, like pulling weeds, all kinds of things. Because once you plant everything, it just needs to be watered, all right? And however you want to make your watering system work for you, do so. Whatever you do in your garden and it works, keep doing it. All right? I leave my plastic string on here on that I tie the tomatoes up with because I reuse it. And another thing is when the wind blows and these are blowing like that, it does help a little on the birds situation. I also put, for the bird situation, I have 80-pound test fishing line above the garden. So you can diagonal it all kinds of ways to keep the birds out. All right, because they love to bite the tomato flowers. So, it's simple. Start your own garden, eat healthier, you're going to feel better. Feed your family. Behind me is all the onions. I have 250 onions here. The reason I plant so much is because we use them for cooking all the time. You know how much onions are. You could buy, like, say five big onions about this big. It's like $7. A pack of onions are maybe 3. So you can figure out the math there. So there's plenty of onions behind me, and these onions have been in there a month already. So they're on their way to be in the frying pan. So, plant something in the garden. It's time. I know, we're in South Texas. North, it's a little colder right now, probably snow on the ground. Plan it. You got to plan your garden. All right? You have any questions, email me. I can answer the questions, okay? Other than that, I hope you have fun this year. I am. It's going to be great. We're going to have so many tomatoes. I have 18 of these tomato plants in the ground. I spaced them a little bit more so we have more tomatoes. Okay? Other than that, happy gardening from Gino's Garden. Ciao, baby.